Welcome back to Media Mesh, where I give you my unapologetic opinion on everything from music, movies, news, reality TV, and much more as we go down a rabbit hole, all usually in 5 minutes or less, but I've actually had to step it up to 10 minutes or so because there's so much to be said. Number one, thank you to each and every one of you who have been liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. You know, I was one of the first people to come out and tell you the truth, allegedly, regarding what I believe to be Quavo's involvement in this whole situation. But now, as you can see, Lil Cam has reportedly been arrested, and there's speculation that he's linked to Takeoff's murder. Stay with me. It's only gonna be about 10 minutes. Now, if you can believe this BS if you want to, but those who know better. He is the planned fall guy for this situation. You're talking about a private party with 50 people inside. And it's taken this long to come to the conclusion that Lil Cam Fifth, who, obviously is connected with the princes, right, is now the responsible person here. He's the one that's going to go down. I'm sure his family was compensated. I'm sure there's some type of agreement made. There's an understanding. That way they can put this to bed. You have to keep in mind there are so many people involved in this situation that, for the average person, they might be thinking, well, how is it possible for so many people to come together and agree to do one thing? Well, that's simple. Look at it, the world in which we live today. There's so many things that people consider conspiracy, but when you actually look into it and as time goes on, it begins to unfold itself. You were talking about the video that I did, right? Where I showed you the contract on the bed. Also showed you the gun on the bed. You also saw Quavo obviously having to make some type of decision. We know that the original contract with all three of the Migos had expired. Hence, they weren't working together. Whatever the case was, they were no longer together. And now here's a new opportunity that has been presented. Someone has to go. There's a price to be paid for fame. That's just simple. It is what it is. You don't have to understand how and why things happen the way they happen. And that's okay, because there's many things about this world and life in general that you do not understand. So you can't use your understanding of how things in this world work as a bar. Or standard, right? You probably don't know quantum physics. You probably don't know many different things, the anatomy of the body in its entirety and how that stuff works. The bottom line is, it works. When you're dealing with these, I don't know how to put it. When you're dealing with fame and fortune, for those of you who do believe in the Bible or believe aspects of the Bible to be true, right? We understand that there's good forces and there's evil forces. Some people might say spiritual wickedness in high places. So however you want to look at it, either a positive force is pushing you forward in life or a negative force is pushing you in life. Some people believe it's all just one energy. It's just one force, but it's just a matter of how you manipulate it to benefit yourself, right? So there's a lot of I guess they would say occult knowledge out there, which just really means hidden. People, maybe not you, maybe not no one but there are people out here who have studied a lot of different ancient mysticism, a lot of ancient history, a lot of things from Egypt or Kemet, and they understand how things work. And so people use these energies, these modalities, to bring them into a place of acquiring what they want, or what some people may say manifestation, which is why you have good and evil every single day. We witness good things, we witness bad things. So in essence, I guess it's supposed to balance out. I don't know if that's really the case, because it would appear that there's more negative things going on in this world than positive things. But same time, we can only look through the lens that's being presented to us via the media. So unless you're looking for alternative news sources, channels like myself and many others who try to give you a different perspective, then you would believe that by and large we live in a negative world. Anyway, back on track. So here we have this guy, Lil Cam, who is speculated to being responsible for the demise of Takeoff. And it's crazy because you think this would be something that you would do in a more discreet fashion, not so publicly. But he pretty much, I have a feeling that he kind of knew in a way. If not, then it must have come at a serious, surprise for him, because it's like in his song, Nothing Changed. He talked about, getting your brains dismissed, after playing it up for YouTube. He talked about what he would give to have his grandma or be with his grandma. He participated in a music video, not even taking a moment to think about the surroundings of the video. No input, basically. It's like, okay, hey, we got this song, it's called Messy. This is the concept. And I already told you Quavo is one of the producers on the video. So there's no happenstance, there's no coincidences. Everything that you saw in there, you were supposed to see. Because they want to let you know. They can't come out and directly tell you. But if you're wise enough, if you're smart enough, you will start to see for yourself all of the things that these people do and rituals that they have to participate in to keep their money and keep their relevance. So the question becomes, how bad do you really want to be part of this industry? And bigger than this, if we're looking at things in the world in general, do you believe everything that comes on your television? Do you not know that these are scripts? They're reading off of what's called a teleprompter. So there's a video on YouTube where they compiled like a number of newscasters saying the same exact thing. Some people add a little more emphasis here, some added emphasis there. Nevertheless, they were all saying the same thing. They're on one accord. So basically, this is a script that's coming down from the top that is meant to be given to the trusted person that you like, whatever anchor that works best for you. But they're just reciting what they're reading off a teleprompter. This is not their own original thoughts. They very rarely stray away from what's in front of them. And then the journalism that we get today. This is not real objective journalism. The guy that talked about the whole CI, what number, he talked about that situation back in the day when they were allowing that stuff to come into the country. He mysteriously disappeared, but he was blowing the lid off that whole situation that was taking place. In Snowfall, that's another good movie, TV show you need to see, because it talks about how the drugs got into this country. So you had a whistleblower or a real journalist that was trying to bring the truth. So ever since that point, you can imagine that everyone is not so easily persuaded to tell the truth. A lot of these people are being bought and paid for. So I said all that to say this. Just because you see this is the face of who's responsible, who's going to go down for this, does not mean he was the actual participant. He may or may not have actually, done the deed, right? But he was not the orchestrator of the deed. He's following orders. So someone is responsible, obviously, because Takeoff is no longer here. But where that order came from was much bigger than him. He is not significant enough to be able to make a move like this on his own. So I leave you guys with this. Don't idolize any person. Work on yourself, focus on yourself and what you're supposed to be accomplishing with your own life. Don't focus on this. Don't let this take you away from, who you're supposed to be. And don't allow this to emotionally bring you down into a negative space to where you're vibrating low, because that's all this stuff does. It just brings you into a real negative space, and it starts you to question the world and how beautiful life really is. I like what Glorilla says. Anyway, life's good. Life's great, right? So anyway, that's what I had to say on this, and I'll be back with more.